hidden. See, we go in this ring fighting and come out writing, speaking in tongues, ironically hung to the society. See, don't let nobody steal away your right to be free. Capture your essence, capitalizing your absence. Will tell you that the value of the chosen few won't be diminished if you allow them all to finish what they start seeing.
Welcome to Straight Up. I'm Stella Winston. I'm here with Trey D of Collective Flow and Poetica, the spoken word specialist.
Democracy upheld to the system.
Welcome to our show.
Thank
you for having me, Trey. Thank you for having me, Stella. You're welcome.
Now explain that spoken word specialist.
Well, spoken word specialist came about because, one, I started as a poet, Poetica, hence the title. I started as a poet and a writer, and I used to come maybe at age 16 up here to New York on a bus by myself on a Greyhound, all scary, and perform for slams. There were several different slams at the time. This is all prior to deaf poetry. So this is like, you know, you might not be able to Google all these things I'm saying, but there was this thing called Hottest Poets, Radio Satellite Network. And they would give this thing in Harlem, and I would come every week just to win my prize money. So I would get my money, and I would run back to Philly, and I'd spend it, and I'd come up next week, and I'd win again. And that was how I had kind of got the title. And I would do this at every slam. I think I did it maybe for almost 4 or 5 years and won everything, every one that I ever entered. And the last one I entered, it was $500, supposed to be $500. I still want my money. Because they gave me like t-shirts and prizes and all these really kooky things, which was great, I guess. But at the time, I was accustomed to the dollars that I was getting on a weekly basis. But I took on the specialist because I took it a little bit seriously, more serious than just like the deaf poetry thing. Even though that was a wonderful form to shed light on what people were doing as spoken word artists in the genre, it was still just a commercial representation of what people were already doing around the world. And we would all travel from state to state and perform. So I was part of slam teams. I was part of book signing parties and events and everything. I was privileged enough to be asked to perform by Alicia Keys when she signed her book. She had a book called Tears for Water. And at the time I had a song called Water for Wine. And so she asked me to come and perform that song at her event. So the spoken word specialist comes a little more from the fact that I began to teach poetry, write poetry, and take it a little bit further than just the spoken word, just performing it.
I'm quite sure we're going to hear a little bit of that today.
Yeah, it's a little something, something.
Yeah, I came to Poetica, I met Poetica on Bernice Brooks' set. Bernice has a show called The Bernice Brooks Show. She's another BCAT producer, and she is a drummer, and Poetica was her guest, and along with her was her band, and her parents were also there, and her father is a puppeteer. So I was just like so impressed. And one of the comments that a couple of the other crew members made about Poetica, and maybe you can speak to this, Trey D, is that it's so rare today to find a female rap, hip-hop artist. And they were very pleased, they were very impressed with Poetica's performance. So, Trey, just speak a little bit about the history, because I know hip-hop is what you know.
Really, at the beginning, was male-dominated. You know, it was a male-dominated genre. But we did have our female artists. You know, like the first female MC was Sha Rock, that we know. That's, you know, she's recognized as the first. But then, you know, after her was like Lisa Lee and Pebbly Pool, you know, all these female artists, Kimba. It was so many that started coming right after that, you know, but it's still...
And even Angie Stone, she was one of them too.
Right, exactly, right.
Back in the day.
Exactly. Matter of fact, she used to be with Rodney Stone.
What? Okay.
You know,
School
for those who don't know.
Yes, see, that's
Rodney Stone
I want to know.
He was part of the Funky 4+1, right? And they were the first hip-hop group to be on television, you know, at, what was that, Saturday Night Live? Yeah.
Wow.
And Jazzy's in the audience.
And they was on a show with Eddie Murphy.
Confirmation. Okay.
Yeah. with Eddie Murphy. They was on the same show with Eddie Murphy.
Okay, so
But yeah.
so Poetica, you really impressed these young hip hoppers. You know.
Well, thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
I'm so thankful that you came to Straight Up and you're going to perform some of your music.
Yes.
So what music will you be performing? I know you have a CD
yeah,
over
got
there.
this CD here. You can explain this one, the Poetica Project double feature. What's that about?
What I did was I decided to give my project a theme. The double feature is to kind of equate both of the songs, the two singles that are on the CD, with films or like action movies. And I was inspired by The Point of No Return, which is the American movie based on La Femme Nikita, the foreign film. And I took both of these, I don't know, if you can see it.
Yeah.
I just took the two styles of graphics and put them together and created a double feature, kind of to give the theme for the two songs.
So
for the CD.
this one is La Femme Nikita.
Yeah,
Now,
La
can
Femme
you,
Nikita.
Can you talk a little bit about that film, because I've never heard of it?
It features Jane Fonda.
Okay.
I'm sorry, La Femme Nikita is the original, it's the foreign film. Because we have a lot of things that we might know of, but it comes from a different source, right? So La Femme Nikita was the foreign film, and I went to school for film and photography, which is why I'm so into production.
Okay.
That film inspired me because it's a woman is in charge. It's all about her, you know, shooting up things, and she's an undercover for the FBI, for the state. And she was a renegade, and then they hired her to basically be a marksman for them, to kill people for them.
So that particular movie inspired that side of the cover.
That side of the graphic.
Now,
yes.
how about the song? Is there a song that comes out of that?
Yes, the song itself, Hard Rock, was actually inspired by John Stew, the film that I worked on, which was entitled Hard Rock. I don't even know if they know that. I actually named it that because of the movie. I was really inspired by working on that film. I worked on that film as the script supervisor. I did some set design, and I was also a location scout for it.
My man's got a heart like a rock and still don't stop till the battle is won. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. He's got a gun, yeah. My man's is a hard rock, ice block. Chill you if you out of line. Ain't scared to let the gunfire fill the space and time, definitely. If you all up in the space of mine, that's word. Catch him on a morning bird to the bazaar. Or the far-fetched doing a stretch for his country. Bump me in the basic training, ain't complaining. Hear the shell drops and you think it's raining. That's my man, and yes, we can rule a nation. Take on anything that face him. Obstacles erase him like Jesus did to Satan. Banish him like Karate Kid. Finish him, damage him in the dojo. Sorry, mijo. My man's got a heart like a rock and still don't stop till the battle is won. He's got a.
I did some set design, and I was also a location scout for the gun scenes. They were shot inside of my apartment at the time. And I had a space I was managing called Poetic Palace, which was a production studio. And that's how I met these really great people in film. And once I worked on that film, which was put out on Lionsgate, and you can definitely go and you can rent it on DVD, so please do rent Hard Rock by John Stew. He's also the director of Fugazi, a few other films that people watch locally, you know, from their DVDs.
And what about the other side, the other side of
This other side was actually inspired by the Philly holiday portion.
which is your current project
Which
right
is
now?
my current project right now. Actually, both of these may turn into two different projects. I mean, I think the great thing about being an independent artist is that I don't have to take myself so seriously. I don't have to say, like, my CD is coming out, buy my CD, you know, because I don't have a label. So, you know, it's out whenever I bring it to you. It's out when you buy it, you know. And so I can really kind of play around with it. So I use this time as an underdog to kind of try things out, to see maybe if people like one side better than the other. Then I will probably put out the next CD with just one of the graphic styles on there. But I did it just to make it interesting and colorful and exciting for people to purchase.
Because I was about to ask you about that, you know, that whole hit woman, you know. Hope you ain't got no reservations for somebody, because we need you out here.
Well, the song is actually dedicated to our troops you know, people who go out and fight in law, as law enforcement officers, people who work with guns on a regular basis. And there's a lot of different, you know, National Guard, different